Good morning. Let's refresh our sourdough starter with all the crazy noise in the background. So I just have prepared to make 2 loaves of sourdough sandwich bread. And for the first time in a really long time, I've allowed my starter to get this low. There's not enough to create another loaf or make anything else, so I have to feed it. And because I've gotten quite a few questions on how to maintain or start or feed a sourdough starter, I thought I would share it with you guys. So my starter is about a year old. I've been using it to create all delicious breads, sourdough, bagels, flatbreads, loaves, all the things. But I have never allowed it to get to just a little bit more than that. So we are almost starting completely brand new. You do not have to transfer it, but because we're at the very, very bottom, I figured I'd start fresh, give it a nice clean jar to live in, and sourdough starter is very forgiving. So once I feed it, I allow it to rise and sit out in warm temperature in my kitchen, get all bubbly, and then if I'm not going to use it, I put it back in my fridge to rest, which is amazing because it will come right back to life when you are ready to use it to bake. So I prefer to use a rye flour, but right now I'm all out, so I'm going to use unbleached all-purpose flour, and I'm going to measure out a 1/2 cup of flour. So you want to do a 1-to-1 ratio, so you would do 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of distilled, filtered water, and you would mix it. Let me get my water. 1/2 cup filtered water. I'm going to put in the water slowly. I'm not going to add it all in one time because I want to make sure that it's not too watery. You don't want to use hot water because it will not allow your starter to rise. And you don't want to use cold water, and don't use faucet water. The chlorine in the faucet water will kill your bacteria in your starter, and that's what you want to use. So it's a little sticky, so I'll add a little bit more water. Give it a good stir. Clean off the sides of your jar, and while you're putting your starter to So you just clean off the sides of your jar as best you can, and while your starter is resting, you do not seal it. You just place the lid on top. Some people use a coffee filter with a rubber band. You place it, you still want to allow some air in there, and then you're just going to set it in a warm place for as long as you like and let all the bubbles rise. And again, if you're not using your starter, you can place it in the refrigerator once the bubbles have become active, and it definitely helps. So 1-to-1 ratio, flour to water, set in a warm place, let sit, and once you see all those bubbles, you can use it to bake. And if you're not going to bake right away, store it in your fridge.